It's been a while, but the comedy review is back for 2024. You know, I had such great plans for the off-season this year, then I woke up on Christmas Day sounding a bit like this.
The journey is usually the part that you remember anyways.
That of course meant I had to spend Christmas on my own and away from my family and relatives. In other words, best Christmas ever. That's all behind us now anyway, and the 2024 car launch season is here, with more than enough content to sink our teeth into. I'm going to be rating both the liveries and launch events as we go, so drop yours in the comments section below, and let's kick things off with the brand new intro for the comedy review in 2024. Now, car launch season has been traditionally started by Haas in recent years, meaning we can get the one out the way and move on with our lives. But McLaren, they had other ideas. The Woking outfit came out of nowhere on the 16th of January to drop their livery for the 2024 season, teasing us with an all papaya look, then stripping the paint off in front of our very eyes. While we didn't know it at the time, the half-carbon look would set a bit of a trend for the launches this year, but at least the team finally got rid of the blue. Did it save the livery? Kind of, but then look at how much better they've done in IndyCar. McLaren would go on to drop its actual car 4 weeks later on Valentine's. This was a good plan since most Formula 1 fans, me included, have all else to do on that day, but it didn't stop the masses completely ignoring it anyway. I'll give the livery a 6 out of 10, but the launch event itself, I consider it a 3. I think this one kind of backfired in McLaren's face a bit. We're 1 launch down, 9 to go, and next up we've got... Hold on, is that what I think it is? Yep, after a year away, Haas watches back for the 2024 season, which more or less sums up my hopes for the Haas F1 team, doesn't it? The American outfit have an all-new team principal for the new year in Io Komatsu, who is so confident in his team he's put his name on the Williams instead. In all seriousness, in the build-up to Haas's unveiling of its new challenger for 2024, Io couldn't keep the team's name out of his mouth, as he went on to describe just how they were in almost any TV interview you can find. For the launch itself, Haas broke down new barriers, giving us a whole video to watch this year. A bit better than the low-quality renders we've become used to in the past, though it did give anyone who watched it an epileptic fit, so swings and roundabouts, I guess. So with half of Gene's budget gone on the cinematics already, what do I think on the livery? And I ask you, what livery exactly? We somehow have even more carbon than last year. And just saying, making the Haas logo bigger won't hide the fact that you have hardly any other sponsors on your car. I don't actually hate the design, but the lack of creativity means the highest I can award it is a 4 out of 10. The launch, meanwhile, given it was slightly better than Haas's usual standard, we'll give a 2. The first actual launch event would come a few days later, as Williams prepared to show the world its new car for 2024. Launch events are usually a double-edged sword. On one side, you get some time to hype up the new season. On the other, we usually have to sit through a bunch of interviews that no one is interested in before we actually get to see the car. Williams would buck this trend, however, dropping the car straight away, allowing everyone to turn off when they did their irrelevant discussions after. Now for the livery itself, like the car, it's an evolution on last year. I'm a fan of the new darker shade of blue, and there's a lot more fan service in the heritage touches as well. It's a 7 out of 10 livery for me, and I'm going to stick the same number for the launch. Well done, Williams. Now let's just see how much of that livery they strip away before round 1 in Bahrain. So what's next? The Stake F1 team. Let's drop my livery rating already. Stake have done a great job in taking the historical Sauber outfit and making everyone hate it before the season's even got started. The name isn't great, the overalls make the employees look like they work at the job centre, and the neon green is a very hard colour to get right on the livery. Yes, Sauber gave us this in 2023, but they also gave us this, so my expectations were low going into this one. The launch event at least had a very cool vibe to it. I wasn't invited, which I'm not salty about at all, but from those who did go, it did seem to be handled very well. We got a fair bit of waffle in the beginning, but I've seen worse from a car launch, so I guess it's just a shame that the livery ended up looking like this. As I said, neon green is very hard to get right, and mixed with the dull black of carbon, it's even harder. If they painted it black, like on the F2 cars, it might not look so bad, but in its current state, I just don't like it. 8 out of 10 on the launch saves it a bit, but Audi can't come in sooner enough. We're almost at the halfway point now, and next up we've got the king of waffle, Alpine, who decided they would use their car launch event to also promote their WEC challenger that no one cares about, and remind us that Mick Schumacher is still alive. Unsurprisingly, the hypercar was unveiled first, and looked pretty good. Then they got to the F1 car, which was not so good. In all honesty, I don't think this livery is actually as bad as the internet claims it to be, and for once I'm actually a fan of the pink one, just maybe because there's not actually any pink on it. The Alpine launch definitely sparked the debate into these all-carbon liveries, with the team attempting to mock the situation themselves in this tweet: blue and pink with a touch of carbon. Maybe Alpine need to go to the same school as Prince Andrew and find out what that word really means. 5 out of 10 on the livery, and we'll stick another 5 on there for the launch as well. Just meh all round here. Let's dive back into the battle of the team names for 2024. This season's winners, Visa Cash App RB, are next, and I may as well just call them Toro Rosso from now on. The outfits have done a good job pissing off their fans in recent weeks, and continued that with their launch event, claiming it was on the 9th of February, which it was, in Las Vegas. QR Spritz having to get up at 6 in the morning on both the 9th and then the 10th when we realised we got it wrong to watch a team launch that we didn't actually see because they chose not to stream it. These key signings they're pushing, are any of them from Ferrari by any chance? We can also cue the first leak of 2024 with VCarb's livery dropping on Twitter before they intended to release it. It at least looks pretty good, even that white stripe is now growing on me. I think this car will look even better in the flesh, so I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. As for the launch, I'm going with a 5. It actually looked like good fun, just a shame we couldn't watch it. We got the weekend to digest the B-Tech Toro Rosso before Aston Martin unveiled their new look on February 12th. This is one of the launches I look forward to more, given it gives Aston a rare opportunity to unveil their new software update for Lawrence Stroll. So I was actually disappointed when they skipped the interviews and just dropped the cars straight up this time around. There's no real changes to the livery, but it was one of the better ones last year, so I'm not too fussed in that regard. Still a bit too much carbon for my liking, which drops its rating down a bit. Meanwhile, I can only give the event a 1 out of 10, given we didn't actually get one. Ferrari were up next, and after producing the best launch in 2023, expectations were riding pretty high. Their teasers in the lead up to the launch also promised something a bit different, and sure enough, they bloody delivered. This is gorgeous. Once again, there was no proper launch event, though the team did shake down their car immediately after in front of a crowd at Maranello, where it was apparently oversteering if you value F1 Twitter's opinion on the matter. 9 out of 10 on that beautiful livery, and a 4 out of 10 on the launch, though again it would have been nice to see a bit more of it. That brings us to Valentine's Day, and having ignored the McLaren in the morning, we buckled up for another long-winded chat before we got to see Mercedes' new challenger ahead of the 2024. Oh, they've already released it, just like that. Straight away, it became pretty clear why the launch was so sudden. After the news of Lewis Hamilton heading to Ferrari, it was very clear that no one in that room really wanted to be there. And that is a huge shame, because the car itself is bloody lovely, and I get already that's going to be rather divisive. I do feel this will be a Mercedes livery that grows on fans over a season. For me, it's giving strong 2000 McLaren vibes, and you can't really go wrong there. 9 out of 10 once again, and we'll give the launch event a 5. We at least got one here. We're nearly done with just one team left to go. Unfortunately, it's Red Bull, so I'm not really expecting miracles. Now, we've come to expect the Milton Keynes-based team to roll out exactly the same livery every single year, and this time around, it became clear that the team had no intention of keeping that a secret whatsoever. Before the car was officially unveiled, we'd already seen the livery on the F2 and F3 cars, some videos of the RB20 leaked from their shakedown at Silverstone, and Max Verstappen had just gone on stream and outright declared it looked exactly the same as last year. I'm still convinced that the Red Bull livery designer has the easiest job in the world. The team had a lot to deliver with their actual launch then, and to an extent made up for that, snatching David Coulthard from his care home and Christian Horner from his disciplinary hearing to give us a pretty decent show. I especially enjoyed them pitching the new RB20 against Red Bull's original box, the RB1, though I still think that 2005 livery looks so much better than what we have today. The new car's matte look isn't a bad one, don't get me wrong, but I still think the glossy look of the pre-2016 era trumps this design 10 times over, so we'll give it a 6 out of 10 and the launch a 7. Not bad at all. There you have it then. 10 F1 launches with testing in Bahrain and the opening round of the 2024 season just a stone's throw away. We're nearly back, baby. I'm not talking to you, just my YouTube ad revenue on this one. What did you think of my ranking? Let me know down in the comments below and drop yours as well. While you're at it, why not consider dropping the video a like and getting subscribed if you haven't already. I'll be making tons more content throughout the 2024 season and beyond. Thanks as always to all my patrons and channel members for their continued support. If you want to be a part of that and get early access to some of my videos, then all the relevant links can be found in the description below. I'll be back soon with another video, but until then, have a good one.